Welcome back to the WAC podcast. Eric Danner and Kendra Sheehan, now joined by the head baseball coach from Lamar University, Will Davis. Coach Davis, how you doing today?
Doing great. Good to be here. Thank you guys for having me.
Coach, thank you for taking some time out. I know you have a game coming up here this afternoon, but we wanted to talk to you with the start that Lamar baseball has had, in particular in the WAC. You were initially picked, I believe, fourth in the Southwest Division. Early going, only a couple series under the belt, but so far, Lamar in first place at 5-1 in the division. Is this kind of where you envisioned where you would be as we sit here heading into the latter parts of March?
Well, Eric, I try not to envision anything, quite frankly, and not to get too coach speak on you. We just try to take it one day at a time. And we knew we had a good team, but we know there's a lot of other good teams, particularly in our division. And, we haven't done anything yet. We've had some hard-fought games. We've been fortunate to be on the winning side of most of those. But we know we have many, many hard-fought games ahead. So we're trying not to get too high with the start, but we're certainly happy with it.
You got a non-conference game coming up in just a few hours. Texas A&M, Corpus Christi, looking to get back into the win column after your last time out against Sam Houston, falling 9-3. What's kind of the game plan going into this midweek game before you're back on the road again at UTRGV?
Well, the midweek games are important to stay sharp and continue to play. They're certainly not as important as the conference games, as we all know. We've got a couple guys banged up a little bit, nothing that's too concerning for the weekend, but we feel like the prudent thing to do will be to rest them. And then it also being a Wednesday game rather than a Tuesday game so close to the weekend, we don't want to overextend any of the pitchers that we would want to use on Friday night. So we're going to play to win, certainly, but, we're going to see some guys that maybe we wouldn't normally see, and hopefully that they can step in nicely and fill the void that some of our starters would be filling tonight.
Coach, take me behind the curtain a little bit here on this road trip. Obviously, we're trying to talk to you. You're on the bus down to Corpus Christi. Then you have at UTRGV coming up. So I imagine you're just after tonight heading over to Edinburgh. And what that experience is like spending time on the bus as many of our baseball teams do during this time of year.
Yeah, it's a couple long bus trips this year that, and it's nice to break them up with a midweek game. And it's kind of if you can schedule it correctly, it's kind of a smart thing to do. And so we've already gone most of the way down to Edinburgh now. At this point, we only have 2 hours tomorrow. So we'll get to play a good opponent in Corpus Christi tonight. And then, head on, kind of break the trip up a little bit on the way down to where it's not a 6.5-hour bus ride both ways. And, so that'll be nice. We'll get our game in and break up the trip. And I'm sure the guys don't mind missing another day of school. I'm sure they're pretty happy about that.
How would you describe this team if I'm looking at some of your top stats guys? They're juniors, seniors. Is this a veteran group that's leading Lamar to one of its best starts in the WAC?
Yeah, so out of the 40-man roster, we have one freshman. So we have 39 sophomores, juniors, and seniors. So I would say it is a pretty veteran group. And, that's by design. Obviously, the transfer portal is not a great thing for mid-major baseball programs. And you can get rated pretty quickly. In fact, we've got one pitcher at Oklahoma from last year, one at West Virginia, and one at Texas. So, we wanted to make sure that we were an older team. We had a lot of guys back, but we also brought in a lot of junior college players as well, and a few four-year transfers that have really helped us. So it certainly is a veteran team.
Coach, getting back to that conference play, so you play UTRGV this week, a team with some pretty good players on the roster. As far as coming into the WAC this year, you spent a few years at Lamar in the Southland, starting a new conference this year, but a lot of familiar foes. Obviously, UTRGV, not one of them, as they were playing in the WAC. Have you been able to get a feel for what the conference is going to look like this year?
I don't have a great feel for the Western side. In fact, I'm not even sure what the name of the division is. You can correct me on that. I don't know. Is it
West
Western,
Division? You got it, Coach.
There you go. I've never played any of those teams in any capacity, whether at LSU or at Lamar. So, following along and watching them, at night and stuff, it's kind of cool. They do play later than we do, so you get to see them when you get home from your game. But our division we knew would be tough. Obviously Abilene, Sam, and SFA coming over with us are all great teams, and we played Tarleton last year, and we were actually supposed to play RGV to open the season last year, but we had a little COVID outbreak, so that game never happened. But we did all the scouting for it, and we knew they'd be a great team as well. So our side is really tough, and I'm sure the other side is challenging as well. Our pitching coach's son, Cy Snedeker, is actually one of the catchers at Grand Canyon. So we see them a lot, following along with his career. So we know that they're a great program as well. So it's a great conference, and I'm sure it'll be a long battle the rest of the way here to see who the champion is.
What's something that surprised you about this team so far, whether it's, your resilience in games or a player that in particular stepped up more than they have in past seasons?
Yeah, that's a great question. We've had a couple guys, our Friday and Saturday night starters have really stepped up for us. Braxton Douthit was our number 3 starter last year, and he's jumped into that number 1 role and actually just elevated his game and been a great pitcher for us on the opening game of each weekend. And then we got a Division III transfer from Michigan named Adam Wheaton, whose first year in Division I has been off to a great start for us as well as our number 2 pitcher. And then we got a young man named Josh Blankenship on the offensive side that's leading us in pretty much every offensive statistical category. He got 1 at bat last year. So, he's really, really improved. And, that's 3 guys right there that have really stepped up for us. And we thought that they could be great, but they're actually going out there and doing it. And that's great to see.
We're talking with Will Davis, head baseball coach at Lamar University. And again, not to look too far ahead, coach, but the WAC baseball tournament in Mesa, Arizona at the end of May this year. And that's always a great event put on by the city of Mesa. We're playing the Oakland A's spring training facility at Ho-Ho-Cam Stadium. And like you said, you haven't seen these West Division teams, and I don't believe the schedule is such that you're going to see them during the year. So the first time you would be at the tournament. As far as how do you plan for that when you're going to be seeing your division so many times, but the West Division maybe not until the tournament?
Yeah, it'll be really weird. It'll be weird to have that first game trying to get to the NCAA tournament, be against a team that you've never seen before and have almost no familiarity with. Fortunately, there's some really good scouting platforms right now that you can use, and we use one of them. So as soon as the season ends, we'll have some time before we travel out there. We'll turn the page to, and we will be playing the Western Division team in the first game the way the bracket's set up. Obviously, we're not sure which one yet, and we'll scout the heck out of them and get ready for game 1, and then we'll turn the page to whoever the opponent is game 2. So there will be a lot to learn, from that. We'll have a lot of familiarity with whichever one team from our side is in the same bracket as us, but the 2 Western Division teams that are with us will have a lot of work to do.
Now, you mentioned the veteran presence, obviously, on this team, and you're going on a 5-game road swing right now. How much do those kind of time on the bus, like you guys just had, give this team even more of an opportunity to bond and kind of increase that chemistry, I guess, among the guys on the roster?
Yeah, I think it's great. I think it's fun. And I think when you think back to your time playing college baseball, for all of us that did, those are the things you remember. It's not necessarily every single game, but it's those times with the guys. And it's a great opportunity for our guys to spend a lot of time with each other. And there's some downtime here on this trip. And it'll be a good way for us to continue to bond. And that's what makes a season special.
Coach, I don't know if you guys have had spring break yet or not, but with that trip, you said only 2 hours. Are you going to try to do anything team bonding wise, maybe tonight or tomorrow morning?
I think we're going to go eat some chicken wings tomorrow, but no, we're not going to South Padre Island or anything like that, even though we're pretty close. So I don't know if I need to make a little rule or anything and make sure these guys aren't heading over there, but we had spring break last week. So we'll let as anybody in baseball knows, spring break is for the normal people, not for us. So that's something that's an oath we take to give up all spring breaks from now until the end of time. So we don't even know what that means.
You made almost an immediate impact when you took over at Lamar, and with that veteran presence, how important is the recruiting for next year with losing a lot of guys that are, at the top of your stats being seniors and juniors, and looking ahead to continuing to build this program to what you want it to be?
Yeah, recruiting is almost everything. We like to think that coaching and developing have something to do with it, but we all know that the better players you can recruit, the lot smarter you look as a coach. So as much time as we spend developing these guys is as much time as we spend recruiting too. So we're constantly doing it, and we're working hard during the season to try to sign a nice class to be ready to go and reload for next year.
Well, Coach Davis, want to thank you for taking some time out. Good luck in your game tonight against Texas A&M Corpus Christi, and good luck the rest of the season.
Thank you guys for having me. Really enjoyed it.
That is Coach Will Davis from Lamar University. Thank you, everybody, for listening to the WAC Podcast.
Thanks for listening to the WAC Podcast. Make sure to follow us on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and YouTube. And check out our website at wacsports.com.